Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. And today we have our honor to have two speakers, very excellent one coming from these VR and the graphic computing fields. And today's our topic is about the 3DGS for preserving empirical events and art. I believe that some of the most meaningful physical experience are temporary by nature, from Burning Man sculptures and empirical art spaces like Olympic cultural exhibition and historical landmarks. Our speakers will discuss how spatial capture can document not only geometry but also atmosphere, context, emotion, and memory. So this webinar we will explore how 3D Gaussian splatting, spatial capture, and immersive media support a new form of cultural preservation, one that follows audiences to revisit, study, and experience spaces long after the physical moment has passed. So welcome you all from all different parts of the world. If you have any of the area, please say hello from anywhere. For example, hello from Hong Kong. And yes, I would like to introduce Josette and Doc to have a very brief introduction before their presentation. Please, Josette.
Thanks, Mindy. Hi, everyone. So my name is Josette Seitz. My full-time job is with a company called Specular Theory, where I'm a VR software engineer by day. Outside of my full-time job is where I do a lot of 3D scanning, helping others in creating immersive 3D Gaussian splatting experiences, especially within the art and most recently the world of sports. The virtual Burning Man platform, Burner Sphere, which Doug will talk more later about, is actually where I got my start in 3D Gaussian splatting. So, Doug, I'll forever be grateful for you and the team for the incredible experiences we've had out there scanning. And then I was just recently in Italy where I was using a portal cam to scan a bunch of incredible spaces, including the Winter Olympics. So, again, thanks for joining, and can't wait to dive in more.
Great.
Yeah, thank you so much for this brief one. And then we will have Doc.
Hi, I'm Doug Jacobson. I am co-founder of Big Rock Creative. My background is in the film industry. I went to USC Film School. I've been in the LA cinema industry for a long time, made some documentaries. I'll talk about a little bit later, shooting Burning Man itself. And we've been doing a lot of VR, XR projects for companies and others, but we just came out with our own app called Burner Sphere, which is solely focused on social VR sort of documentary platform that focuses on Burning Man. And part of that is going out and shooting Burning Man, which Josette has been on our team and has been in the trenches with us. So it's been very great. I'll turn back over to you, Josette.
Yeah, so should I go ahead and dive in on some slides?
Before that, I have one recommendation for the audience. If you have any questions regarding the presentation today, you can leave that in the comment area and let us know. So after every presentation, we will choose several of them to answer and discuss it in the last part for most of the questions. And no worry, all the sessions will be recorded and published to other YouTube channels. So and then let's move on to the presentation today. And first, it's Josette.
Great. Thanks, Mindy. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Okay. So what I want to start with is a video, and this video is going to show all the things that I was able to scan while I was in Italy using this incredible scanner, thanks to XGrid. It was the Portal Cam scanner. Oh, sorry, guys.
Welcome to Milano, mamma mia, io la amo. Lei mi veste, io mi spoglio, cuore caldo, notti volo.
Sguardi dritti e con loft. Welcome to Milano. Welcome to Milano.
Sweet. So when I first found out that I was going to be able to attend the Winter Olympics, I thought no matter what, I wanted to be able to make sure that I remembered this experience forever. And then I thought to myself, well, what's a better way than basically 3D scanning as much as I could? So not a lot of people are able to attend such events like the Winter Olympics, but at the same time, I wanted to be able to share the experience not only with the people that were there physically, but I wanted to share the experience with my friends, my family. I'm an ex-athlete, ex-figure skater myself, so also inspire other incredible athletes who have had these lifelong goals of going to the Olympics. So this is a good segue into why is this so important to be able to preserve uh, just all of this stuff. And again, at the end of the day, many of these art installations and cultural spaces will eventually disappear and they'll never come back. In the past, there hasn't been a good way to reconnect with these art installations or relive a memory or experience. Through technologies like 3D Gaussian splatting, we are now able to have the ability to revisit these sculptures or relive a memory, almost like the capability of going back in time, which is so great. We can do that today. And then as our lives increasingly become more digital, it's also important to create meaningful human connection and human experiences within the digital spaces as well. I think definitely when we're going out there, especially when I was at the Olympics and the Playa, we're creating these storytelling pieces. And I think through preserving art and these cultural events, that's the beauty of storytelling. We're really now able to do that, especially within our background of VR. And instead of looking at a photo, you can kind of go beyond the photo, like go beyond that 2D feature, go beyond the flatness of everything. I think there's just more impact when you're able to experience art or cultural events in a 3D or 360 way. For this example here, I was able to go to Venice before Milan, and because it was the theme of the Olympics, Venice Carnival this year had the theme of Olympus. And this stage right here is a one-time deal. It was just for the time of Carnival. There were so many amazing, incredible cultural things happening with dance performances, all the people in beautiful costumes, and just really being proud of their country, especially when it's that theme of Olympics. You're really just so excited to represent just more than yourself, but just with people around you and your country. So I thought this was really cool that I was able to go in with the portal cam, go in with this scanner, and basically have that memory forever before heading into Milan. So I get this question a lot, but many people ask me, what are the biggest challenges I face when I am doing a 3D scan? And my big four would be limited time, weather conditions, overcrowding, and going into restricted spaces. Places like the Olympic Museum that I scan were very, very restricted. And sometimes it can be all four at the same time, which can be pretty insane. So actually in this video is an interpolation of a daytime scan that I did and a nighttime scan of the Duomo using hand tracking. It was a Leap Motion controller where you're able to kind of go left or right and switch between the daytime and nighttime scans, which I thought was so cool. You can see in the nighttime scan, there's not a lot of people, but within the daytime scan, you can see these crowds of people. So depending on your use case, I find crowds not too much of a negative thing, as it's just truly showing the real experience of it all. Especially within this interpolation, it's kind of cool to see the people disappear when you're going from daytime to nighttime. Though on the flip side of it, when I'm at Burning Man scanning art installations, we can't scan people who are on top of the art or taking a picture with the art. We need to be able to scan the art as it was truly made by the artist, that true digital twin of it all, especially when you want to relive that memory of being near the art in VR. Scanning people with it will just not, I think it's a distraction, or will kill the experience. But then in parallel, having stable weather has been crucial. I don't find myself scanning in the rain, or when we're out there on the playa. There are just so many unpredictable dust storms, and the winds are pretty intense. And sometimes these winds can actually destroy the art installation, which makes it even more important to try and scan the piece before something might happen to it. Again, we're doing our best, but I mean, again, like, you want to try and scan the art as it was made by the artist, that integrity of it all. So, but overall, I mean, I look at these challenges as all learning experiences. I think a lot of my best scans have been during these complications. So, yeah, definitely a true challenge. So my workflow, specifically, my workflow from beginning to end at the Olympics, I had this amazing portal cam. It's small, but it was so powerful. It's incredible to see how small the scanner is, but how powerful and incredible it just was for me, and just in general, especially when I got home and I'm processing all the scans. And then I'm thinking to myself, wow, like, I can't, again, going to back what I said in the beginning, I can't wait to share this with my friends and my family and these athletes who are like dying to go to the Olympics. I used to be one of them. And so, yeah, the hardware was important to be able to travel around Italy, going from Venice to Milan, where it wasn't so hard or heavy. And I was able to just place the portal cam nicely in my backpack, and then go do a scan. And then also, when the scan was over, I just honestly felt like, wow, that was an incredible experience. Like, now let's go get lunch, or let's go get a cafe. And so, by 3D scanning, especially when you're in different places, and especially these places that will eventually disappear, like, you're having that true tourist experience as well, that I think a lot of people, especially in today's age, we're missing the moments a bit, and we need to kind of calm, slow down, and just try and be within the moments. And 3D scanning has actually helped me in my everyday life of just being in the moment, and again, slowing down and just being grateful for what we have. There's so many beautiful things in this world. So again, this portal cam was so great to have. Within the software, I kind of kept it within the XGrid's workflow of things. So I did use their Cybercolor, or their LCC Studio, to process these scans, which was great. I would go into the software, upload the scan, and then I think on average, I mean, it was a little bit of an overnight situation, especially the bigger the scan, the longer it will take, right? But sometimes I would just scan like smaller spaces, and that would only be like maybe like 5 hours, which was great. And then there's amazing ways to then publish these scans once they're rendered. So XGrids, I've used their servers to upload, to share with my friends and family. Also, there's a third-party platform that I love so dearly, Nucleus, which I'll show in a demo, the Olympic Museum. Actually, I can go into that now. Have a couple of things that you can go into. So Yeah, by uploading into the Nucleus's platform, I was able to create a virtual tour of the Olympic Museum that was in Milan. Again, it was a space that was extremely exclusive, very expensive, and actually it was made for the athletes and coaches. But unfortunately, with the Olympics, everyone has so many busy schedules. They're performing, they're representing their country, that a lot of these athletes didn't even get to go to the museum. So I was able to scan the museum, upload into Nucleus, and then share that to a bunch of athletes that weren't able to go check it out. And museums are, I think, so important because it's just tells the story of history and culture. I thought it was incredible to see they had posters and medals dating back from the first Olympics in 1924. I learned a lot just like scanning, learning more about the Olympics just in general. I had no idea it dated back that long ago. And then, yeah, there's a case study, kind of tells more about how that process was. Again, a little bit more about my time at Burning Man, how different there's lots of differences, but kind of this also similarities when you are going out and you're scanning between the desert and maybe something like Europe. And then for anyone that's interested, there is going to be a hackathon in LA I think it's the weekend before SIGGRAPH. And it is a 3D Gaussian Splatting hackathon. So if you're in the LA area or thinking about wanting to experiment with technologies within the 3D Gaussian Splatting world, I suggest pulling the trigger and coming out and come hack with me and come meet me. And this is a really cool space to be in, and forever grateful for it. So thank you. I think, Mindy, you're on mute.
Yeah, how about not?
Good deal.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you have a very great presentation, and I think it has amazed all the audience. And we have audience coming from like Toronto, Hong Kong, San Francisco, New York City, Munich, even Munich. I think it's very late night. Yes, and we got several questions for you. And the first coming from the Oliver. He asked whether it is this scanned from only ground data? And I think he asked for the Olympus stage.
Yes, it is. So I am a licensed Part 107 drone operator, but speaking of restrictions, I couldn't fly a drone at the Olympics. I did not have approval to do that. So yes, this is all from the portal cam on the ground, no aerial footage, which is crazy because, I do look at it and I'm like, dang it. Like if I had a drone, can you imagine even more how this scan could have turned out? But you're right. The Duomo, I couldn't believe that cathedral is massive. It was probably the craziest thing I've ever attempted to scan. And during the daytime, it was incredible. The amount of detail in that cathedral I was a little bit overwhelmed for sure, but it captured it. I was just so shocked. I will say, yes, it is ground data, but I did bring a 3-meter pole, which I know isn't like that crazy, but yes, I did bring a 3-meter pole and did place the portal cam on something that would give me some height. But yeah, overall, everything is from the ground.
Yeah, yes. For me, that's the same experience because there are more and more people have those strong restrictions. And but if you have a drone that we can import to much angles and heights, all these kind of methods will improve the splat to some very big extent. And let's move on to the other one.
Okay, great question. Mindy, can you hear me okay?
Yes, a little bit loud, but we can hear you.
Okay, great. Can you clean the splats up after you scan? Yes. So in the LCC studio, there's also an editor that XGrids has, and you can go in the editor and do some cleanups in there. In my past, I have used Supersplat, which is up on a web browser. I think actually, yeah, Supersplat's been a great tool to use for cleanup. And as well as even the XGrid software, their cleanup is also fantastic or pretty easy to use. In the past, I've also used PostShot, and that's actually where I first started cleaning up scans, was in PostShot. So yes, there's a lot of tools in cleaning up, especially when you want to maybe implement this in VR. Like, you probably should clean it up just so it's the file isn't so large for VR. But yeah, a lot of great tools. So I suggest Supersplat or the editor within XGrid software, or PostShot.
Yes, for me, the experience is quite similar. And Supersplat is a web-based editor, and PostShop and LCC Studio much more on that desktop. It depends on what kind of environments are you working in. And I think one from Germany asked that whether the presentation can be shared. I suppose it's the slide, and it depends on you.
Yeah,
whether it can
absolutely.
be.
Yeah, what I can do is I'll talk to Mindy. Maybe I can pass them to you, or if anything, maybe find me on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Maybe I could put a link there, and reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'd love to share it with you guys.
Great. I think the people who asked this question is Lambert come from Germany. Thank you for staying up so late. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lambert, old friend for our webinar. And let me see another questions. Oh, a very detailed one. How small can PhotoCan or your scan for small text like textbook text size? And does it scan a smaller detail than like okay too?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good question. So, okay, I have been asked this before because in the Olympic Museum there were posters and a lot of plaques of information with text. So, it to me it was able to actually capture the details of these small texts and graphics. I'm wondering if I could quickly share. Actually, do you mind if I just demo real quick something?
Yeah, of course you can present. I can add it to the stage.
Okay, let me, yeah, I'm like, instead of talking about it, let's show it. All
Yes.
right, let me share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
And when you do that, I want to give much more like details for that. Yes. After we release the K2 and people may compare the PhotoCan with K2, and I suppose that still K2 is designed for medium size or larger cases, and the PhotoCan is also designed for mainly details. So compared with that, PhotoCan always did a better job than K2 and any other expert scanners.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for that, Mindy, because from my experience, yeah, I've worked with the Lixel L2 Pro, but that's been at Burning Man, and we're doing more art. But with the Olympics, I had the Portal Cam, and so yes, the Portal Cam was so great in capturing those level of details in these posters, level of detail of the medals. So yeah, you can see here. I won't go too much into it, but yes, it was doing so great. I think the key is to, obviously, we know, go slow, and have some type of distance. Don't go too close to the text. You want to have a little bit of some distance. And yeah, that's my suggestion on the.
Yes, and my experience for the text size is that It's around 1 centimeter. Yes, it's the text when it's larger than 1 centimeter, it can be scanned clearly and shown in the splats. And it also depends on the level of detail you choose for the rendering. Yes. So, but if I want to make it into VR, and just because of the computing capability, detail for that rendering. So I think sometimes it depends on which device and what kind of connection environment you are in and adopt. And wow, many questions for Joseph. And this one is the last one for this part. And we will have Doc for his presentation. And most of the question will be answered in the last part. And this one from Hao, coming from New York City. He asked that regarding the virtual tour of the Milan Olympic Museum you shared, I'm curious how you achieved such high resolution detail for so many elements. Did you use HD enhancement for every point of interest?
No. I love this. And again, it's like, is this ground data? Like, did you do anything extra? Like, did you do HD enhancement? No. No, I didn't. And so that kind of just shows you how great and out of the box this scanner was. Also having good, I guess a good technique of like how I scanned it. I know one of the challenges I talked about earlier was limited time. So I did have, they gave me, I think 15 minutes to scan the place. And then like, that was it, which I was so thankful and grateful that they were even gave me 15 minutes. So with that being said, it was just a one shot thing. Just, I knew like once I hit start, like this was it. And so I just utilized the time that I had and then just went as slow as I could and just, yeah, it was just very gentle and just tried to be, just try to be as accurate as possible, keeping these things in mind, especially again, what I talked about earlier, like when I'm scanning the posters, making sure I'm not too close or making sure I'm not, jolting up and down too much. So there is like this art form within itself while you're scanning, but yeah, no, I didn't use any HD enhancement. So that kind of just shows how amazing this Portal Can scanner is.
Yes, and I found that in the comment area, someone just called Josette scanning master. Yes, and I think that's because that you have experience in not only for the Gaussian splats but also photogrammetry, and they have similar methods to do the reality capture. For example, much more angles and different heights. And I also noticed and to observe your scanning path, which is not always straight lines, and you always cover like different angles and try to zigzag in some of the area. And all these kind of thing are the scanning techniques to get a better capture. Thanks for those sharing. And yes, so other questions will be answered in the last part for our discussion. And thanks for this session. And we will move on to Doc for the second presentation today. Thank you.
Thanks, Mindy.
And
Hey.
Doc, it's your time.
Oh, okay. I was just going to tell a little bit of the story of how we got here and how I feel about scanning in general, and we could get technical a little bit more later. Let's see here. Window. That's what I want. All right. Okay. Well, so I guess a good place to start is setting the setting. A lot of you know this already, but I'll dive in for the rest of you. So when we talk about Burning Man, we go somewhere that's pure chaos. It's like dust, heat, people on bikes, flames, and at the center of it is a man, wooden man that they eventually burn on the last night, and art everywhere. Now, I've been photographing this place since 1998. And my goal has just been trying to capture the feeling of being here, that sort of scope, the wind, the sounds. And the first camera I took out there was a high 8 640 by 480 size frame on tape back in 1998. And then we got digital, 720, 1080, 4K, and now 8K. And as time went on, the images became clearer, but I was still pushing to get out that feeling of being there, which is tough. Now, Burning Man is a temporary city, just so I can explain to you guys, out in Nevada. For me, it's focused on being a city full of art. It's also built to disappear. So the only way you can go to Black Rock City, which is the name of Burning Man City itself, is to be at the right place and at the right time. A sort of super temporal city. Now, Burning Man started in 1986, and over time, it formed these 10 principles. Some of them like radical self-reliance, leaving no trace, communal effort, to just name a few. And there's one principle called immediacy. You're meant to be there fully in the moment. The definition of immediacy is the direct experience of the present moment. It encourages participants to engage fully with their surroundings, art, and fellow attendees, creating a rich tapestry of interactions that are spontaneous and meaningful. This principle is a response to distractions of normal life, urging individuals to put down their devices and immerse themselves in the experience. For a long time, there was no connectivity out at Burning Man, no signal, no phones, and people loved that. They would just completely disconnect. The art they saw, they would have to tell people about because it was gone after that. So capturing it has always been a tension with this immediacy. I was usually one of the few people out there with a camera at all. And to a lot of burners, photographing the art, taking it home, feels like a violation of that thing that makes it sacred, that it was temporary, and that you had to be present for it. And I've been sitting inside that tension for over like 20 years. But we all know what happened next. Everyone out there has a phone and a camera, and you're going to see every art piece on social media during the week, uploaded by satellite internet. And whatever immediacy used to mean, connectivity is a fact now. Phones with a camera are a fact. And honestly, I wish we had a little bit more immediacy now, although I can see that I'm part of the problem, frankly. But along my journey, I spent a lot of time thinking about how can we bring immediacy into a digital space? And I think we did achieve that digital immediacy in BRC VR. BRC VR, as I realized, my 2D documentaries were never quite getting me that feeling of being there totally. You can show someone the playa, but you can't put them in it. So around 2019, I started getting into VR. And then in 2020, COVID hit, shut down Burning Man. And through a long story, which I don't have time to get into here, a group of us built BRC VR, a virtual Burning Man experience on the AltSpace platform. And it got a lot closer to immediacy. You'd walk around, see art, run into random people all over the world, and have fantastic conversations. It felt like a cartoon version of Burning Man, but it was a little still too low poly for me. But we managed. And then in 2023, AltSpace was shut down. And we decided we had all these assets, all these things that we had from Burning Man. And so we decided to build our own platform from the ground up, but leaning more towards documentary and video and scanning. And we've released that in this last year, and it's called Burnersphere. And we started to rethink what we wanted in a social VR platform. And we leaned into as much of the real as we could. We set out to let someone who's never been on the playa walk into it, an immersive, explorable documentary built in Unity. And it taught us a lesson under this whole talk. People don't want a record of Burning Man. They want to stand inside it. That moment you give them the space to walk through instead of a frame to look at. The community and the stories will come back with it, because you're not preserving the art, you're preserving the place where the art happened. So we went out to Burning Man and shot in virtual formats, 180, 3D, 360, photogrammetry. And then last year, we started adding in Gaussian Splats, because that's the ultimate experience for us. So So we decided to go out and shoot, and we asked the X Grid to give us a chance, and they gave us an L2 to take out to Playa. And we've been shooting photogrammetry out there for a while, which is a pain because you get all the photos and it takes a while. But this was the first time we could actually capture splats at scale that we actually need. The weather out there is famously crazy. I was actually super nervous taking this camera out there. It's an expensive camera out there. On a number of occasions, we had to retreat the device and get it covered because a sudden dust storm or rainstorm came in. One of the good things last year was that it rained a lot, which kept the dust down. But you can kind of see here, storms could be coming at you at any minute. In fact, this is the temple from last year, which we didn't quite get the full scan of because as we were scanning this, the storm came in and we had to retreat. The rain helped keep the dust down, which is a gift because we had this machine. We didn't want the dust getting in there. But on the other side, we lost some of the scans we couldn't finish because the storms were rolling in. And it's the same challenge in most places. You got crowds and you have weather. And can we get a clean scan? Here's some footage of some of the fly-throughs of some of the splats we got of the art on the X-Grid L2. So they're just rolling by here. I had to get a little zen about it because I knew we might not get everything we need and what we wanted in this environment, but we did the best we could. And some art, like the man base or the temple, are huge size of buildings. And so the environment around it is half the point. We split our crew into teams. We had one shooting 360, one running with the L2 to shoot the splats, a different photogrammetry team, which included a drone, which Josette was also flying the drone. And I was shooting 3D 180 myself and scanning splats sometimes. So we would combine all these in Burner Sphere in various ways. It was great to have one device capture the whole splat. And before we'd have to take hundreds of pictures. We just didn't have a lot of time in some of these art pieces. And I also really enjoyed that it captured the skybox too, because that really immersed you in it more. It captured the time of day. So the light and the scene was there all matched, which when we had done some splat tests before, we didn't have the skybox. So that was amazing. And that's what's, instead of a 3D model sculpture, you're actually like in the space. And here's the man base from last year, which was a rather large scan because we had to scan around it, above it, and then there's art pieces underneath it. We often invite artists into Burner Sphere to talk about art and the stories behind the art and the struggles, and being able to do it while standing next to their art is amazing because you're getting a new kind of sort of documentary where they're physically standing there. You're there with the avatars and they're talking about their art piece. So we're very excited to capture more of these scans from the artist. Now, a lot of these are up in Burner Sphere. What we had to do, because we're a Unity app and we had certain Unity settings, we took the out PLY and then compressed them and then had to get them small enough for addressables to download them on demand. Right now we have it working on the PC and we'll get it working on the Quest. I haven't had time to turn that feature on, but a lot of these have been shrunk down, but they still look absolutely great. In the future, this is more than just one event. We've seen what it does in a controlled space. Now picture it everywhere, places it's hardest to get to. A festival you can walk back into years later, an exhibition that's closed, a piece of public art that stood for one season and is gone, preserved. So we're really looking forward to being able to go back in time, teach people, and be able to walk around in a digital immediacy, which is what we're striving for, being there now with people. And we'll be able to walk through history. We'll be able to visit any museum exhibition we want. We'll be able to create these kind of stories. I feel like I could go to Josette's trip and walk around the Olympics where she was and feel like what it felt like when we were there. So this is really the promise of splats. And these devices like the L2 that we took out in the portal camp make it just so much more feasible to capture. So that's it. That's my main talk. I went through that. Let's see it stop sharing.
Yeah, very great. And when I just say that when I said that your presentation and preparation is good, and tell me, and don't say that before you see my presentation. And I must say that after I saw all these, I feel that just I was shocked by all these materials I never saw before, and because me myself didn't get a chance to go to events like Burning Man as well as Olympic. So that from all these materials and 3D sets, I always can get atmosphere. And thanks for those like reality capture works, which really keep those not only media immediacy, but also to keep that memory in a more interactive and immersive way. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. And, and let's go to some questions here. Also, several one for you. And people say that how amazing, how cool your scan and works are. Is not only about the scan itself, but also the VR interaction as well. I suppose that from Oliver again. So even desert environments can be captured with a slant scanner that combines LiDAR and RGB cameras. I would have thought the lack of visual features would make SLAM much more challenging. And let me ask this. Yes, because for me, actually, our company is the manufacturer of this lens scanner, and yes, for me, it's really challenging. So I would also ask your experience about how to scan such environments with very few features.
We only had, I think, 3 or 4 scans that just didn't come out, that wouldn't load. I don't know why. But most of all the rest of the scans worked perfectly fine. Now, where it gets a little complicated is one thing we should have next time is ability to record GPS, because what was happening was we scanned some things that were very large with multiple passes. I know that Josette and the team were going out to get trained. We're training on it, and then we have this huge tent called Center Camp, and they scanned it in quadrants. So I've got like 8 scans that make up one space. And I'm like, how am I going to stitch this together? So what I did was, and I'm still doing, was I actually used Blender. So I had Claude make me a Blender program to line up the pixels. So I'd get it pretty close, and then it would continue to line up the pixels. And then Claude would get me in range. So we've had a couple scans that were in pieces that I had to assemble. And then had we had the GPS, it probably would have just automatically clicked into place, but we didn't have that. But the rest of the scans came out just like you saw, really no problem.
Yeah, for me, those Blender one, for me, it's also a new method. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's why.
A lot of people don't realize that you can run, custom programming on Blender. So.
Yeah, great. Thank you for those answers. And this question from Nathan: what do you think will happen to these places and artworks if everyone who visits has a drone and is trying to make a realistic digital twin?
I think it'll be amazing and annoying. No, I think I don't. So somebody flew a drone over Burning Man, and we have it in our app actually, but I have to show you. But it's not a Gaussian splat. It's a photogrammetry, and we made a photogrammetry of the whole city, and it's pretty fun because you're like a giant and you can see everything in 3D. But it's challenging. I don't think we did hook up any of the. We didn't have a drone that could carry the splat scanner on it, so we have not done this. But these places and these artworks, already are being archived in social media in a 2D and a vertical format. And I kind of like the Gaussian splat format better, where you can walk around the space and get a sense of it, than a little phone with a little, sliver of the space. But we're all living a little bit into the future. It hasn't hit the rest of the world yet, the splats, but they're starting to seep out. So using them on TV sets here in LA, they're now scanning the sets at high res and using them for virtual production and things like that. So
yeah. And from my perspective view, I think that the tech will go to a broader group of people in the future, even with not only the photogrammetry, but also as 3D Gaussian splatting. And nowadays, people can also use their cell phone to capture and get a get a Gaussian splatting in a very easy way. But let's look back to that camera age. That as people have fun to take photos, to record memories, and we still have photographers, cinematographer, and DSLR cameras to get a high resolution or high quality data sets for those different kinds of business or commercial use cases. And I think Gaussian splats really make the environments and the 3D into a very realistic digital twin. But how to make those 3D data sets into live and to add some other interesting interaction is something belong to the artist. And that's why I think Josette and Doc is a very pioneer artist in these fields, and they really did a good task and make their own experience in such interaction. And I highly recommend you to go to their website for those experience.
What I'll say, Vaughn, is that I tell people that it's lonely in the future. If you're too far out of the future, nobody knows what you're talking about. You can't try to explain these things. You have to. It's a show, not tell. So it can be a little bit lonely in the future. That's it. I think that if you could imagine a day where what LinkedIn users are saying, you can imagine a day where these just become ubiquitous. Remember when video first happened on a website? You're like, oh my God, they're playing video on a website. So 3D spaces on websites will be, where things go, I think, eventually. Although I am always debating, and because we made an app, I'm always debating how much people want to have a passive experience versus an active experience. And what I mean by that is, I got to walk around this, are they going to want to use the keyboard? Are they going to be, or, can we give them a nice glidey tour around and let it go on its own? I'm always debating like how much people who aren't us in the future want to walk around and take the keyboard. So
yes, do agree. And this one coming from a LinkedIn user. Do you think in the future 3D GS will be able to be uploaded to platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, etc., natively or embedded from other hosting?
Yeah, you could see YouTube adding splats to them in some day in the future. Because I could see it. They'll all do anything that they think is the next thing, because none of them want to be left behind. So if they see things moving in that direction, they'll run over there. For example, the Quest headsets could already do kind of a splat from the headset, right, of your room. Facebook. So Facebook's already running into this direction, but not for Facebook itself, but you know what I'm saying. So
yes, please.
So I think they'll just jump on any format wagon that's the next thing if people really want to see it. So yeah, for me, and I think its development trends is just like the video. So from the very beginning, only in your laptop or desktop, you can open the video very in a high resolution. But when the format or the streaming technology has developed, and we can see that videos and application just flow like water into every device. And I think it's only a business of time for 3D GS to become something like MP3 or MP4 that can be flow into your
any of the action environments, even with an old cell phone, and so that you can not only see them in
Right.
the platforms like LinkedIn, but also in the VR headset or goggles, or even with some very trivial applications, I believe.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
one of the challenges we've had in a platform is that we do like 3D models with mesh because we can place them in a world and light them. They're starting to get, be able to light a Gaussian splat now. And so, and also what do we do about nighttime splats? So I'm just leaving that up to you guys to get your nighttime splat on, because we shot at Burning Man, but after dusk, we really couldn't shoot very easily with it. It's challenging. So I'd like to illuminate nighttime splats more, especially like at a beautiful festival or something with lights. And I thought Josette did capture one of hers as a nighttime A/B toggle, but we had a really hard time at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So still, there is some space need to be improved for the new tech. Yes.
Yeah.
And another one from Lexi, do you see these captured spaces mainly as archives or as new creative media that can continue to evolve after the physical event is gone? And I think Burning Man is really a good example.
Yeah, I mean, we could take these splats and now put a DJ over there and throw up some lights, and now we have an event space. Even if we took the event space from reality and then augmented it with other objects, and then we created an event space. I mean, I think it's myopic for me to think it could only be an archival thing. It's going to be, and now you can generate AI Gaussian splats. So I don't know what that, which I've tested out, which is pretty weird. So, but nothing explains being a Burning Man better and the scope of it than the 3D footage we shot and the Gaussian splats. You can walk around the art and see the background and be there with people. So it's such a powerful tool for taking people to a place and a time that I've been striving for. That 2D flat 16:9 film just isn't enough anymore for me,
Yes.
So.
Yes, and I think as the application tools be improved, and there are more and more application can be made together with the splat. Now, after the event, you can also enter into that digital event and again, even with an avatar, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll try to boot it up. While we're here, I'll try to share my screen and walk around one of the splats in the app if I can in a second while you. But yeah, there was one of them that captured the dust. You kind of see the dust in the air. I think somebody was asking about that.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's potentially really good for giving people around. Let's see here. Let's go to, hold on. Hey, I'm going to zip in here. Someone was in the world asking me, talking to me. So here's, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Real quick. Share screen. Where are you? Entire screen. Okay. So here's an example of a great dusk art piece that we captured with the L2. And we have our own little inverters where we have our own little world selector. You can go to different worlds. And you can see that kind of captured that like sunset. And I'm an avatar, so I'm walking around. And other people could be in here with me. So, this is one of the pieces. We also, let's see, let's go to, so this is a scan that we had a trouble with when the dust storm came in. It takes a sec to load. Here's the temple. You can see that we captured most of it. It gets a little fuzzy out here, but as we walk into the temple, from that year. You can see that storm is coming. We did capture as much as we could inside the temple. The Temple of Burning Man is where people go to give offerings and say, oh, bye to a pet or a relationship or someone who died. So this is before it opened, but all these walls will be filled with stuff people put up as a goodbye to somebody, and then they burn this on the last night. But we sadly could not. This particular piece got dust stormed before we could finish it. So there you go. And I could go on and on, but look at me. I'm all the way out in the cloud land here. I lost my thing. So that's kind of how this works. Showing you guys some live stuff. So we can turn it over to this is another one. You can see the man back there in the background. The skybox is so great. Another art piece over there. Here's some de-resed people. I didn't remove anybody. And then the background. So the L2 was really good for capturing these large sort of pieces of art out here and giving you context to where it was in the city out in the middle of nowhere. So
yeah, it's coming. And I can imagine the place is not only having user like you. It's like people can enter into with different avatars and they just decorate the avatar with their own style, and it's more like a live concept there.
Yeah, we could put a DJ in here, and next to this mammoth, we could be having a DJ party, so.
Yeah.
Or bring the artist back. Bring the artist back. In fact, right now in the platform, one of the artists is coming to talk next to his piece that was scanned. So there you go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I think that we finished this part, and so let's welcome Josette together back to the stage. And we also have several questions for I think for both of you, and we will try to answer most of them. If someone just left, and we will get back to the comment area of the webinar. And the first is that for Vivian, will this webinar be recorded and shared afterwards? For sure, I can answer this. We will record it and share it through LinkedIn and YouTube. And we go to another one from Kevin. As someone who scanned with you, I suppose this one is for Josette. I'm so impressed by how patient and meticulous you are. Does the form factor of the portal cam change how you scan?
Yes, actually. Hey Kevin, I love this. What a great community we have, honestly. And actually it's funny because Kevin and I, we've scanned together in San Francisco. Actually, we've done this cool thing called Skate and Scan, where we go on rollerblades and we go down to Ocean Beach in San Francisco and just start scanning all the art. And why we bring our skates is because all the art's so divided. Like if we walked it, it would be impossible. But efficiency with rollerblades, we can scan like 7 pieces within like 3 hours. But yeah, going back to the question, the form factor really has been something again really trying to lock in a bit more, especially. I noticed when I was scanning at first, before I left for the Olympics, doing some practice runs with the portal cam, I realized like I really needed to kind of like have it hold it more straight than I have used with like my phone. If I'm scanning with my phone, I'm kind of like not so precise in like how I'm holding things. So yeah, just the way I'm holding the camera, I definitely have learned that's pretty important.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for me, I also do that, like do the scanning as a meditation.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, and I think the next question is 1 or 2 for both of you. So how long have you scanned? How long have you post the process? And I think it depends on the project. I think both of you can share some of the experience you have.
Well, Doug, so this was interesting because I never got to process those scans. I did get to scan a lot of the art, but then Doug, you processed all of them. So
Yeah.
what was the time
Team.
for all that?
I basically, it was hours and hours of scanning, but I have a 4090, which helped. But
Mm, flagship.
so what I did was I processed with the software, exported as a POY in various formats and in the LLC. And so I had a folder of options when I went back again and tried to go decide how to put them on a platform or something like that. So um, it took me weeks. And then the few that I couldn't figure out, I sent to the XGrid guys, the folks. Say, do you know what? There was a few that just we didn't hit the button right, or it's chaos. You just got to get, like I said, you got to get zen. Like you're going out to do a shoot, or you're shooting a movie, you're shooting anything, and you just got to be like, okay. But we got a lot of stuff, so I'm happy with what we got. But yeah, some of those scans, especially the temple or the man base, are so huge. Or your guys' center camp scan
Yeah.
was a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also just from a learning experience, when Doug was talking about this place called Center Camp, we did it separately. We did one, quadrants, right? But honestly, I wish I could go back and just do it in one shot, right? This is something we didn't know that we could do, scanning large spaces in one shot. Again, it's crazy that that's what we can do, not just do it separately. So I do wonder, Doug, though, if we did it correctly, how much bigger would that file would have
that is a
been?
question which I never really understood fully with the L2 is how much scanning can it handle in one take. We never found the edges. I know it has an internal hard drive, but I don't think we never scanned so much that it said time out.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, even we set a limitation for the battery life. So one battery for L2 Pro is 90 minutes, and PhotoCam is 60 minutes. And I always do some.
Could we have scanned for an hour a whole bunch of?
Yes.
Could we have walked around the city in one scan?
Yes.
For example.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes, and my longest scan for L2 Pro is like around 18 minutes, 880. Yes, it's nearly 1.5 hours, and which is a relatively very large. Yeah. And relatively, its process time will be.
It'll be like the Olympics where you're handing the torch, you have to hand the can off to somebody else because they're so heavy. we were not in shape for that thing. I think we were like, oh God. And then we have to go back around at another level. Yeah. So
see, that's the thing is like, I've never been given a use case where I can do a long scan. Again, I'm always in a situation where like I have limited time. So I didn't even know that information that like, wow, like you can do scans that long. I mean, hours, like an hour or something. That's crazy.
I can't imagine what the file size and processing time will be for that.
Yeah.
How long
from my
it take
perspective,
for you to 80-minute scan? How long did that take to process? How long? How big was the file?
For L2 Pro, it's nearly like 1 minute scan. You got 1 gigabyte, the raw file, and the hardware is I've got 1 terabyte storage, so that you can keep scanning. If you got enough battery, you can keep scanning a whole day, and you get very large amounts of data sets to process.
Why did we just walk around the whole? We had plans of walking down some of the major streets with it back and forth, but now that I know we can do that, I think.
Yeah. So actually, in most of the cases, I would recommend to separate the scan into different small wine, and we also provide those like map fusion functions or area graph map fusion functions to segment those data sets, and it's much easier to store and transfer, and so that it also much safe for you to process and to see whether the result can meet the requirement.
Yeah,
Yes.
but did you not have an attachment for GPS to combine those flats? Isn't there an extra device you put on there?
Yeah, there is a control ground control base, control point base, and so that you can use that for some targets, and you can stick some markers on the grounds or on the walls, and so that with these control points, it's just quite similar as the GPS things, and we can use control points to distinguish there is overlapping areas for different separate scans, and so that markers will help you to do the map fusion automatically.
Okay, I think that's one of the things that it's so, as we were saying, it's such a chaotic environment that we would
Yes, it's quite hard to do so.
can't do that. Well, yeah, if we were
Yeah,
recording the
so
GPS data in a way for each scan, we
mhm.
could. So that's what we
Yes,
didn't have
yes.
that extra box.
Yeah, and for that L2 Pro, we also provide an RTK module to get us to get a georeference to the data sets. Yeah.
That's what we would have needed for sure.
Yeah,
next
which
time.
is not PhotoCAN doesn't have.
Yeah, ProCam
Right.
does not have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it depends. That's why I say that even though the cell phone can be easier and easier to do the capture work, but DSLR always has its life for a much more complicated cases.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And let's move on to another one. Oh, great. From another LinkedIn user, great job. I noticed the detail of the models on display. Did you get a detail with the AutoCAD alone or with, I think this one is quite similar to the house. You did this without any HD enhancement. Let's move on to another one. And
I think
this one.
there's
Yeah, please. And
Yeah.
this
So,
one.
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mindy.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, people can see these questions,
Oh, okay,
whether it is
cool.
scan for promotion or marketing after.
Yeah, so I am definitely in touch with at least the Milan Cortina team. I've sent some things over to them. The Olympic Committee, I've sent a lot of things to them as well, especially when the museum went live on Nucleus, because now we could actually share this with them. They're a tough crowd to get in touch with, but they are aware of this. So yeah, hopefully in the future. Again, I know, Doug, you mentioned the LA Olympics, Summer Olympics are coming up. So I would really like to continue to push this to at least the Olympic Committee, but the each Olympic, especially location, they have their own team. It's like this team within a team within a team. But yeah, Milan, the Italian team for the Olympics, they have used some of it and they loved it. So yeah. But it is hard.
Great.
It's hard, especially just because I was able to have access to these spaces, like then trying to get in touch with the right people, especially for PR and marketing is kind of a little bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think same questions also goes, Doc. So it's other than the Atmos itself, whether the scan can capture the dots and the storms as part of the scene, and whether you use that for promotion or after interaction.
I think it can. One of the things was we didn't want to find out in a way. I was so paranoid of this camera getting destroyed by Burning Man that Josette could tell you, everybody on the team was on edge. Dusk, hurry up! We'd run it back to the cart, put it away. So we really never had the guts to just say, here's a storm, let's go into it.
I agree. And also carrying around the L2 on bikes. I was the one that delivered it from the Bay Area. And I mean, that I thought I was going to like fall off my bike. And I was like, I would rather me break a leg than us break this scanner at this point. But you know, it's interesting because now that I've had hands-on with the L2 and then, you know, PortoCam for Italy, like it would be interesting, Doug, to, I don't know, maybe try and scan with the portal cam just because it's smaller and easier to kind of
Yeah,
take those risks.
that's the question. So if I have a big man base or a big temple, will the portal cam won't get as far of a scan out of it, right? But
Yeah.
it'll be a higher quality visual. Is that my understanding? I
Well,
haven't used the portal cam yet.
yeah. So, yes, you have to do more walking for sure, just to do more coverage than I would
Compared
say
with-
the L2.
Mhm.
But with that being said, they have a feature where you can combine ground footage with aerial footage. So something like the
Yeah.
example of Temple, we could go in with the portal cam and scan the outside and the inside, and then in parallel, someone fly a drone to also cover the space as well.
Well, that's
And
what I thought needed the what Zachary's calling RTX module, right? To combine the two data sets. Is that true?
I've done just
couldn't
like
get it to work.
HD enhancements, just an HD enhancement without any map fusion, anything.
Okay.
I've done it before, and it was great. I didn't need anything more.
I couldn't.
Just
I should try it again. I couldn't quite get it to work with the drone footage plus the scan on the
okay.
ground. But I'm sure Mindy, maybe today you're going to tell us about the L3, maybe, or some other new version that we haven't talked about. That scans at
good news
night
with that.
and doubles up
Yeah.
the. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
nothing to
very
announce
good
yet.
news will come very soon. So in June, middle June, we will have a big update for that.
Okay.
actually-
All right.
Yes, I can let you know some very good point. Yeah, so firstly, you can use for ProtoCam in a very good workflow that actually people after the scan, they need to transfer the data sets to the PC and upload it or to do the process. But in the future, after you scan with ProtoCam, you can use that the app to transfer the data sets directly to the cloud. And which means that if you don't have any performance computers, you can also adopt the benefits of the cloud processing services. And when you get back to the office, maybe just several hours later, or you just fly from the site back to home, and you get a scan, you get a processing deliverables. Yeah, so that's the workflow improvement. Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
And for the area, for the area ground map fusion, and I also can let you know some secret. Yeah, even for those people don't have any drone with RTK, because at this moment those functions only support those drone support RTK, so that we can get the georeference the data sets for the combination. And some of the professionals in the community just use the HD enhancement to combine the photo from drones. That they just use the drone photo as the additional photos to do the HD enhancement, especially for some stadium. Yeah, it's not about a tower, it's like a stadium. And then or the temple, I suppose it's also possible for the HD enhancement to do the area ground map fusion. They only takes like different angles photos to combine with the handheld scanning data that they can also get a comprehensive 3D Gaussian data sets in a very good way. Yeah, so that's the secret.
I would assume that future models will have a higher res camera on them to shoot higher res. Because you notice a lot of the questions are wondering how Josette, how clear the plaques were, how clear the words were, and so I think everybody's striving for getting the high res details of those paintings and words.
Yep. Yes.
With these cams, and I'm assuming that because the portal cam is newer, it actually probably has a little bit better camera on it,
resolution for that pictures.
resolution. And so in the future,
Yeah.
you guys will probably even increase it more.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I cannot promise, but I suppose it will come very soon.
Well, Josette and I are ready to call whoever over there, ask them.
Well,
Yeah,
here's
yeah,
the thing, Doug. I mean, I'm just like,
Well, I
can't
don't
we
know.
just be grateful what we have already?
No, I know. I'm just wondering. Well, but that's what I'm wondering. Like the portal cam for these intimate environments, like a
Yeah.
museum on these little corners and stuff. I mean, you shot with them, and I think people
Huge
want to
game
know
changer. Yes,
how clear everything was. I
I
couldn't
know.
tell from your presentation. So, how clear was it?
Yes, exactly. And so after all the questions coming from the audience be answered, I also have several ones for the future chance. For example, could spatial capture and the 3D Gaussian splatting eventually become a standard way to preserve exhibitions, festivals, and temporary cultural experience? What still need to happen first, do you think, for both of you?
Well, I mean, to me, this is my standard. Like, I think we're already living where we are today. Like, to me, in preserving art, this is the standard. I mean, there's other ways of preserving art and cultural events, but why we're having this talk today is because I feel like Doug and I feel like this is the standard for the future of preserving. I don't know, Doug, what's your thoughts?
One thing we're focused on is that these are all pieces of a story. And so the question becomes, how can I take this Gaussian splat and a documentary about that place and all these pieces and bring them together in a nice way to tell? That's kind of what Burner Sphere is trying to do. We're trying to experiment with. How can we bring the pieces together to tell the story the best? There's some really good platforms like Arrival Space and Super Splat. You can upload your splats to them and walk around. But that's like being on a movie set, and sometimes you want more context, or you want the rest of the story to come in of the narrative. So I'm always trying to figure out how we can add more narrative elements on top of the splat to make it a real storytelling platform other than just a set, I guess is what I'm thinking of. Because people tell me, oh, we're doing a digital twin of our building. I'm like, okay, so then now what? Like,
Agreed.
Am I going to walk around your building, or like, am I going to walk in and there's going to be a voice telling me the history of this, or telling me more information? Like, how can we get the story parts in there? So.
Yes. And I also noticed that you make some other like videos and different annotations and some of the words for those case. And I think those like multimedia and all different kinds of data sets combined within those 3DGS environments can be a very colorful
the 3D is the setting, and now we've added, like for those art pieces, we're going to need annotations, the story behind the art, or a video comes up and tells you. So we want to add more story elements on top of that.
Yes. So I think that would be very interesting.
Then it'll be ubiquitous,
Yes, and the question follow this is how do you imagine the future of interactive archives for events, public art, or cultural spaces? Maybe those not only for the PC, but also for all different kinds of displays, such as VR headsets or AR or any other kinds of forms for that.
Well, yes. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just thinking.
No, you're good. No, and I love this.
If you want to go to a Civil War enactment, you're going to want to go to the field where the Civil War battles happen, and you could go there with a scan, and then you could have ghost soldiers battling, but you could be taken there as a historical place that doesn't exist anymore. Some of these art pieces are never going to be seen again. So now we have a photograph in time of the art piece is a 3D object. I wonder how that messes with your memory. Is your memory the scan of it or the real thing? But I think it's great for preserving stuff.
My thing is when it's real quick, kind of when the word I really keyed in on was like interactivity. Like I think you're right. It's like we do a scan and then we can like visually see it again to like spark that memory or like show or share experiences with other people. But I feel like within this 3D Gaussian splatting world, we're kind of missing more of that immersiveness or more of that interactivity, which is why I kind of brought up like that hand tracking experience that I did, where it was like you can now use your hand to go back in time and or go from nighttime to daytime. And so like now you're really interacting with the scan and now you're really reliving some of these moments or whatnot. So I feel like I would like to see more. I mean, I'm huge into hand tracking. I'm huge into VR. I would love to see more Gaussian splatting experiences with that interactivity, because I just feel like looking at it visually is not enough. I mean, it can be enough depending on the use case, but there's just so much more. And I think, you know, things like VR and hand tracking is where we should kind of experiment more.
Yeah, what will eventually melt our brain is that if we could actually shoot a video of the people,
yeah,
in that sort of Gaussian splat way, we would need a ton of cameras around.
I know it's that 4D world, but it's so complicated.
We're still striving for it.
I know.
We've got one notch further. We've got the space down. Now we just need the people in there. Right now we're avatars. So
right.
Yes.
Well, I leave it to XGrid to come up with a 50 camera system we can just set up in a square and we can walk around people in a 4D video way.
Yeah, let me try.
Yeah, let's plop that on the playa and see what happens.
Yeah, do have these kind of thoughts, and I would try. Yes,
Yeah.
And try to solve the problem of that 40GS takes so many photos to do so, and maybe we can use some diffusion methods to reduce the difficulty of the capturing site for 40GS. Yes, and
All right, you're already working on it. Thank you.
Try to, yes. And yes, for the future interaction, yes, I also got some example from Germany. One professor, he just lead his students to do the capture for a museum, very old museum. At this moment, some the museum is not as attractive as before for the young people. So they make those capture into a Unreal Engine game, and the team made small car into the museum and to make the interaction that to simulate the operation of a steering wheel, so that you can operate a car in that museum and try to find some treasure and find some gold in the museum, which make it a much more a game-like application to attract attention of the young generation of the people, which is
Right.
very interesting. And in this progress, and they may try to use some of the not only the annotation but all different kinds of way to introduce the history of the museum. So I think those also very good concepts.
Yeah, gamification can get people can get obsessive with gamifying everything, but I think what they're really trying to do is storyfy everything, and gamification is an avenue of storytelling, but not the only option
Yes.
in your quiver.
I agree. Yeah. So those interactions just the sweet box, and I think the core of that is the history and the story behind that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a great use of Gaussian splats for sure.
Yes.
One thing I did is I went up and scanned some TV sets, and then eventually maybe fans of the TV show could walk around the sets and find clues or plot points in the set that they can walk around. So it's another way of thinking of using Gaussian splats.
Yes, exactly. And yes, I think that today's webinar is going to an end. We have already answered most of the questions. If there are some left, we will go back to the command area to contact. And if you have any questions regarding Doug and Josette's presentation, you can also reach out by DM or just comment. And thank you for today's presentation, and thank you all for coming. And even with some late night environments and coming from all different parts of the world. And we will have another one in the near future, not only with art, but maybe more applications in different areas, such as the historical side, digital trains, as well as some immersive experience, maybe in the future, VR, AR, and hope that's what a series you will like. Thank you so much for today's presentation.
Thank you
See
for
you.
letting us.
Guys, that was great.
Bye. Thank you.